Good evening, everyone. This is Veer Maheshwar Charitable Trust Latur MS India organizing daily international webinar series. This series is running from last 5 years. Speakers are invited from India and abroad. Education, law, health, technology, environmental, all these topics are accepted here. And this series is running successfully from last 5 years. Today we welcome Dr. Nadana Raja Vadivu Ji ma'am, who is Assistant Professor, Department of Biotechnology and Chemical Engineering, School of Engineering, FOSTA, Manipal University, Jaipur, and she Jaipur from Rajasthan. And the topic is Sustainable Materials, Regenerative Systems, the Bioplastics-Bioeconomy Nexus. I welcome you, ma'am, from my organization and from all the participants. This topic is technical. We are not from the science side, all participants. So you can make it simple. Thank you. And we request you can start your speech now.
Yeah, sure, sir. Good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank our principal, Dr. BETKAR, sir, and from Maheshwar Charitable Trust. And thank you so much, sir, for inviting me for this talk. This is more related to my research area. It's a wonderful topic that sustainable materials, regenerative system, the bioplastics, and the bioeconomy nexus. So before that, could you please tell me whether my screen is visible and can I go forward? Anyone? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
The first slide also, sir, because this page is why do we need a materials transition? That is also visible, no? Shall I go forward, sir?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. So today, the title itself, it's very interesting title, that is sustainable materials, because we are bound towards the materials, though we are more towards that elements, but the materials, whatever right now we are using, now we are more towards this, whether the material is sustainable. Sustainable is a broad spectrum. We cannot define with whether the material is suitable for the environment or suitable for the person who is actually using it. There are many elements are there, so that we'll be discussing in future slides. And one of the material which I have selected is the bioplastics, because plastics is everywhere, and right now we are in the era to reduce the pollution factors based on whatever the impact given by the plastic. So right now we are focusing towards all biological materials. So here the material we'll be discussing more into that bioplastics. First, we need to know why actually the transition, why do we need a material transition, why it's very important in terms of resources, in terms of and in terms of recovery. So here the material demand, the demand of plastics or bioplastics, if you would say, it's very important because it is increasing day by day with respect to whatever the development is happening in the world. So either in terms of urbanization or in terms of infrastructure or in terms of consumption, the material demand is more. And right now, whatever we say, so now you just imagine the material, and the material we are having the plastic material, and the plastic we are going to take it from the biological sources. Right now, what exactly we are focusing, that is virgin extraction, that's what given in the material, and then fossil based production. These are actually the two systems we are following in order to extract the materials, for example plastics. So what exactly the virgin extraction, it is directly we are taking it from the sources. So for example, if I'm taking anything from cellulose, if I'm taking it from plant materials, that is actually virgin extraction. Instead of going for regeneration or recycling, directly I'm targeting from the materials, from the sources. That is what here mentioned, that is virgin extraction, and the normal traditional way of extraction. So that actually creates emission and pollution, and even it gives pressure also. So, and also what exactly deals with how long we are going to use the product in terms of like product life cycle. That also matters, like how long you're going to use the product, and after the usage where it is going to be. Because whatever we are using, not only like plastics, any material we are using, even in furnitures or like any material, water bottles, or like any material, could be like metallic or copper, any material if you use, how long we are going to use, and after the usage where it is going to be, how we are going to dispose that, whether we are going to dump it in soil, or we are going for incineration, or we are going for any factors, how we are going to dispose it. Based on that, we need to look for how the demand is, because certain materials we'll be using for only short period of time. So, and then according to that, are we having the resources, do we have the resources to produce like that? And then what exactly the transition, like from plastics to bioplastics. So if we are saying bioplastics, so we are having the sources from the biological material. The main aim of bioplastics, or derivation also we can say, bioplastics, which is derived from the word bio, so that means biological sources. Here the biological sources are many. Either you can take it from plant sources or microbial sources, any living organisms. If you target, we have like a small or large abundant sources of this materials would be there. According to the ethics and economically it is feasible or not, we can go for targeting this materials. So the feedstocks and the production and the product life cycle, and then the next one is recovery. So these are the most important factors whenever you go for any particular material system. So first we should know the complete material system from the sources till the recovery. So in that way, like why this sustainable is very important. Coming to this, so whenever we go for any production, first we need to look for, nowadays like we have the tagline like circular economy. What exactly it is? Earlier, what are the economies we followed? So this economy came into picture, like people started working on in 90s also, 1990s also, but this circular economy concept came into picture worldwide only recently, 2000, around 2000, 2010, only it came into big picture. Before that, what are the other economies we followed? Because industrial revolution started even like before the World War. So we can say that in 1790s itself or 1760s itself, it started. We started going for this linear economy. What exactly it is? If we want any product, so what we will do, we'll be targeting that particular source of production. Then we can go for production, taking the product and then use it and then dispose it. That's what like the main ultimate aim. So because according to the needs, whatever we require, the main human consumption in terms of consumption, or in it could be like any materials. So even in terms of plastic material, any material, we followed this linear economy. And due to this linear economy, first we didn't focus on how much of the losses we got, but here it's like a single use, and after the usage we are going for disposing that. And the disposal created a major issue, how we are going to dispose it, whether we could dispose the materials in a proper way or it is going to have an impact on it. So for example, if you're taking any material, say for example plastic material, after the usage, how many times we are going to use, that depends on the material or the quality of the material. Say for example, water bottles, how long we are going to use, or any bottles or plastic materials, how long we are going to use. So here, what people used to do, they used actually the virgin extraction from raw materials, and then they actually design for only short life and only for the single use. So we can't use this even the water bottle for like not more than 3 to 6 months. Then again we have to go for discard it. It's not, and then people whoever takes that, then they will go for other recycling process. So here what they observed, value they created, but value is getting lost after the disposal. Because anyway, like whether after using that the materials, we have to dispose, either you just dump it in the ocean, dump it in the soil, or go for any pyrolysis or incineration. So the value for the disposal or the product is actually majorly it went to that waste. And then it created the problem also. We were not worrying for that, how we are going to dispose it, because ultimately it affects the mother's nature. So either in soil, like if you dump, then soil quality will be lost, and if you dump in the ocean, and then ocean quality or the aquatic organisms or whatever it's in that system, that life was in danger. So any kind of material, this is how actually we used. Even like we were using like cloth and all, like not cotton won't have much effect. Any polyester materials, because we have n number of plastics materials. So people started using it, and then they were more towards the production, and then we got the product and we used it for only short period of time, and then we disposed it. And based on whatever we did, and then it created an impact, because mother's nature like could not bear it, and then it started creating emissions, pollution factors in terms of land, air, water. And then after that we were into, again during the world war it started, I mean during the world war II it started, the next economy, that is recycling one, that is around like 1940s it started, but it came into picture 1970s. But then too, like we were not getting like that much result when compared to the circular economy. So people now focus towards this circular economy. What exactly we are doing it? We are, it's like a zero wastage also, and you can go for whatever the product we are making it, the value of the product even after the disposal, it is giving you an impact. So it has too much values. So that is the idea behind the circular economy, and also like a idea behind this sustainable environment also. So here, that motto here is design, make, use, reuse or repair or recycle. So everything it came into picture, even recycle also came into picture. So here we are going for designing some product for any kind of like quality or efficiency. It's not mandatory that we have to go for any virgin raw materials. We can go for any regeneration or recycling also. Whichever is there, the product, we can go for recycling also. That also like we can use. Or any waste materials also we can go for using it. And then that would extend the life of products, this reuse and repair, that would extend the life of products and components. And then you can go for remanufacturing, recycling, reduces the source of virgin resources and lower emissions. So when you do that, even like after the product usage, even say for example, if you're making any bioplastics, you're having this either water bottles you're making out of this bioplastic material, or like carry bags. So what is simple as carry bags or any paper bags. So what we do, so after the usage, even when you dump in the soil, so it won't affect the nature. The earlier cases, when you dump in the soil or ocean, it affects the nature. But in this case, it won't affect the nature because it is sustainable. That means like it won't harm. We can also say that it is biodegradable, eco-friendly. There are other properties we could incorporate. And what exactly it will do to the nature when you dump. Say, for example, you are using carry bags, that is bioplastic one. And after the usage, it's like we are using even single usage also. When you dump in the soil, it will take time, obviously. It won't happen in a overnight. It will take time. But what it will do, like when you dump in the soil first, it slowly like disintegrate, whichever the material, and whatever the microorganism present in the soil starts to completely degrade this material. They will take this as a food source, and then even they also will grow. I mean, microbes will also grow, and then it can protect the nature, that mother nature. So that happens with even if you dump in ocean also, because ocean you have many salt loving organisms will be there. Microbes play a major role here. So like that, go with any waste materials, that like we have the strategy whenever we go for any production. So we have the basic definition, converting raw material into the finished product. So here the raw material, it's not necessary that you can go for high quality raw materials. You can go for even low quality raw materials. For example, agriculture waste also you can take from that, and then you can make use of some useful materials. So for example, if you're taking paddies, and after harvesting you have the straw, and what by using that straw you can go for making energy also. Either you can go for biological method, or you can go for pyrolysis, go and burn it, and then from that like you can make energies, or from that also from remnants, if any of the material left over, then that you can use as the biochar people they are saying. So after burning that pyrolysis, that you can use it as a manure also, fertilizer also. In that way, it helps. So circular economy, it's more sustainable. The way how we are going to take the product and produce it, and how it is going to be recovered, and also how it is going to have a major impact for the nature. So the idea behind for the circular is it has to be in the loop. There will be less waste. Coming to this, so now the material I told you, like there are factors, key factors, which is very important behind the sustainable, because everywhere if you see these taglines are like coming, even social media or any advertisements, even government is projecting like that: sustainability, organic, green energy. So these are actually the terms, but we should know what exactly it is, because everywhere we started using sustainable. Even food, if you are making, we are saying that it's sustainable. Food package material we are using, then we should say that. And green energy we are making, instead of going for normal traditional fossil fuels, either like even hydrogen, green hydrogen. There are like everywhere we started using sustainable. That must be having some purposes. It's not that like defined with only the cost or only the quality of the product. There are certain elements are important. So these are the highlighted elements. What exactly the feedstock is, the material, the raw material, what material we are going to use, and out of it, like whether it is having the circularity. It's not like wastage, it is having the circular connection, that is loop is there. Like if certain materials are used or useful for this production or application, and what about the remaining raw materials or the byproducts. And in terms of energy we have to speak, in terms of safety we have to speak, and in terms of performance. Like, so sustainable material depends on these factors: feedstock, energy, performance, safety, and circularity. So these are the very important. Sometimes like if you say that like it is it is having good feedstock, but it is not having good performance, it is not having even safety, then you cannot say that it's 100% sustainable material. So for example, you are making bioplastics from agricultural feedstocks. Say feedstock is good, and you are making plastics, bioplastics out of it, based on whatever the methodologies you are following. Now, it is giving good quality. Okay, so that test is done. And then in terms of energy, in terms of circularity, like it is giving based on that. After that, once after the test is done, when you like export it, or when you transport your product to some other place. Okay, so suppose like if you are making the product from Delhi, and then you are just transporting to Mumbai. So during that time, when you do the transportation, during the transportation, so something happened, your product quality was lost. That means like it was like broken, that layers of bioplastic, like it could be like either in terms of either you are making the plastic layers also, or even bottles also, or even carry bags. So any forms, you are just transporting from one place to another place. During the transportation, you got some breakage in your product. That means the safety is not there. So that means like we cannot justify it as actually a sustainable material. So it should satisfy these properties irrespective of whichever the condition it is. So, and also like with how people are going to adopt it, because the material is becoming a more demand, the demand of the product is more, but whether the people are accepting it, how the people will accept, the customer, or in terms of, we can speak in terms of customer also, how they will accept it. If it serves the purpose, only people will accept it. Suppose if you keep that bioplastic material at some temperature 40, if it starts to like melt, then you cannot say that it's a pure material, it's a sustainable material. So these are the factors we should focus towards. So we collectively we say that it's a life cycle property. So whenever we say about any product, how much it is having like the life in terms of production, after the production, how it is going to have the life in the society. So for example, if you are making any medicines, say paracetamol or any other medicines, even vaccines, we are more towards this, right? For everything, like why paracetamol, like for everything we are like it's very common medicine. So what is the life of this paracetamol? So how long people are using it? So for example, if you take COVID vaccines, we had uh, we actually only during COVID time, like 2 or 3 years only we took that vaccines. Nowadays we are not using it. So now it doesn't have the life cycle. So it doesn't have the life. According to the needs, we are using the product. So for example, if you take paracetamol, still it is having life. So it somewhere it started in the year like even 1970s before that, and still though there are many products coming into market with various names and everything, still we are using paracetamol. It's common for everyone, right? Even without physicians or without any consultancy from doctors, we ourselves will go and take that material. So that means that is also a material in terms. So that means like it is having that much life. So the same way we have to think for what exactly the material we are talking about, that plastics or bioplastics. Nowadays, actually, I'm talking about bioplastics, but still we are using plastics. Now we are in the era like how we are going to replace this as a bioplastics. That is very important. So if it serves the purpose, if it is there in the society, if it is continuously having or serving the purpose, then we can say that it is a good sustainable material. Okay. And then coming to the sustainable materials, these are actually related to only bioplastics. So the first category is renewable, the second is bio-based, the third one is recycle and biocomposites. So the categories may overlap, but these are actually the terms. We have different terms. But it doesn't mean that like if you are talking about bio-based, for example, PLA, that is polylactic acid, the majority of the plastic material, even PET you might have known, and PHA, polyhydroxyalkanoates. So these are the common plastics, bio-based plastics we are making or we are producing it. We cannot say that it is biodegradable or recyclable. According to the material quality, we can say that whether it is serving the purpose. Okay. So here first comes renewable. Renewable, like from the agricultural materials, either like you are taking cellulose or bamboo. From that, if you are making the plastic materials, that they are actually renewable sources. And then bio-based, particularly here we are targeting from biological material, even like from plants, agriculture waste also we can go for it. But majority people are working towards the sources from the microbes. According to there are like factors like whether the abundance, the nature, or the sources. According to that only we will select the sources, whether we are going for microbes, we are going for agricultural waste, we will be going for it. So bio based we can consider here, it's like majority from this microbes also. And recycle, so this is a kind of recycle method, like it's not like virgin extraction method, already it's there, whichever is there, and then according to that we will be like taking, that is recycled PET and recycled fibers. Even fibers also we can include it. The last category, that is biocomposites, you'll be making the fibers, the fiber materials like either cellulose like materials or any other materials. Along with that you will make the matrix. So here, so these are the four different categories. The categories may overlap. Like as I said, even PLA, if we see, PLA, people are making it from plants also, because it is the abundance is more when compared to microbes. So microbes, like how we are going to grow the microbe, and from the microbe how we are going to extract it. Again, that matters. So predominantly, we'll be going for any waste or less cost materials, so the raw materials. So whichever is available, whether sometimes if recycling is giving you that cost efficiency, then we can go for it. And then according to the needs of the material. If you're making a biofilm material, if you're making a long material for long storage, according to that, we have to go for it. Okay. The same story like the bio-based from the origin, it doesn't mean that biodegradation. because if you want to pro into this biodegradation, then we have to go for making that product into biodegradation. And then biodegradable, so it will degrade, but not all of a sudden. As I told you, like that plastic material, that is carry bags, you dump in soil, it will, but it will take time according to how much time. Say for example, if it is taking 150, we did one experiment, it took 150 days. So it has their own time. So it has to come to the suitable conditions, then only it will happen. So that's why we are saying that, like, not all the bio-based, we cannot guarantee that the biodegradation, provided if you have the controlled environment. And then the compostable also. So it has certain conditions. We need to provide the conditions. Then there are like how it is going to be degraded. These are actually, this slide I have given mainly for the end of the life of the material. Because why we need to focus on this after the usage, how we are going to discard the material. That actually, it given major impact. Because if you're not protecting the nature, and it's like karma is boomerang, right? If you're disturbing the mother nature, obviously, like mother nature, one day it will give back to us. So we polluted unknowingly, like we did many things. We created product, we actually, the idea here is like to satisfy our needs. The major customer is humankind, then like your animals or plants. So first we need to work for ourselves, right? Even automobile industry, if you take, they are working for us. Electronic mobiles, they are making it, they are working for us, right? Who are the real customers? Who are the real benefiters? Only we. So after the usage, how we are going to discuss it? Even textiles, we are using it, but how many times we are going to use? After the usage, where we are going to discard it? Anyways, like even medicines you take, drugs you take, how we are going to discard it? See, these are all actually e-waste, medi-waste. There are certain procedures people will follow. Even this all kind of fecal materials, this wastewater treatment, everything. So finally, it has to come to the stage that is the waste. How we are going to dispose the waste? Either you want to burn it, incinerate it. When you do the incineration, people won't do it in the city. Then you need certain space, and you need certain time, and how much temperature you are keeping it. And then after the burning, like what are the toxic gases it is emitting, whether it is affecting the nature. So everything we have to take it count. Even industry people they are working for many things, and in industry it causes pollution with respect to whatever the effluents, like it is coming out, whether it is directly mixing in the river or ocean or even the air also. Now people are more towards it, how we are going to rectify it. If you disturb the nature, and then ultimately it is going to come back to us. That's what exactly it is happening now. And the ozone layer, like we got some holes, like everywhere we are, like we are facing many problems whatever we do. And right now we are more into this biology. Why we are taking this biological materials? It is actually less toxic, as we can say that from biological materials only we are taking, biological sources we are taking, either you are taking it from plant sources or microbial sources. And then that to waste materials we are taking. And then it is all these property, like it is biodegradable, it is friendly, eco-friendly to the environment. Even when you dispose it, even people are making this cellulose water filters. Okay, so RO we are using filters, but people nowadays, like traditional filter, instead of making traditional filter, we are making a filter made up of the cellulose material, that is from the plant material. And after making it, after usage, when you discard it, then it is not affecting the soil. People will dump in the soil or ocean also. It is not actually affecting it. It is actually helping. So in that way, if you like preserve the nature, then it will give you fruitful result. That's why, like whenever you focus on any product, the main slide why I have given here is like how we are going to look for that particular waste. Or we can say that end of life of the particular product. So how it is going to have an impact. So that matters. Okay, coming to the next part. Everywhere we know that economy matters. Whatever we do, we should be very calculated. Obviously, we should be very calculative enough to like do whatever the works we are doing, irrespective of whichever the field we are. It's not only engineering. We in our house, like some people are working in some industry, manager, banking sectors. So everywhere, like we have to move towards this economy, whether it is feasible or we could manage everything according to whatever in the trend now, recent trend now. So now coming to this, we also have to focus on, because the material, whatever the material we are here making, that is biological material. So the one part, what is bioeconomy? What exactly it is? So we should be very careful in creating a value of product in terms of money also. It's not that like, and also we should look for what is the demand, what is the need for that, whether the people really need that product. Just because like just 4 years, I mean during COVID time, it was having huge market for the vaccines. Can we go for making that product now? It's actually waste of time and it's waste of money also. So we need to look for what is exactly the demand. According to that only we'll go for making the product. The same here. Now we all like depend on materials. Materials, it could be any material. But right now, in our study, we are focusing on the plastic material, an alternative for the plastic material. Everywhere we started using plastics. We cannot avoid it. Though we are saying that like carry bags, people, I mean, what is that? Banned it, but still some places we are using it, and still some places they are mixing with biological sources, and even we are having this paper cups, the biodegradable. Though like we are making ourselves to protect us, and also like according to the demand we are working for it, even the company or manufacturers. But we should be very keen in like what is exactly the economy, what is the cost impact in it in terms of producing that particular product with a value. So that is very important. It's not that like I'm making something, I'm taking this agricultural waste so I can make a product. So I should not say that, I should actually justify that like whether it is giving value to that particular product or not. Anyone can make it, but what exactly the economy states here? So here we should bioeconomy, we should work on renewable sources or any bio-based sources. And whenever you use this, so you have to give your knowledge and technology. It's not only knowledge, you should apply the technology. Why the technology? Because there are technology is booming, technology is emerging. Now we are focused towards this AI. AI is helping in reducing that major steps. So we have to use that for an understanding also, like the whatever the target you are going to make. So you should have that intellectuality. So that's why like here the knowledge and technology plays a major role in terms of producing the product along with the services. It's not that like I'm making a product, I'm just it is in the godown. So I have to, that product has to do its purpose. It has to reach the customers. It has to reach the people. That's very important. And the impact of that particular product, what is the value of it? That matters in terms of whichever the material it could be. So here the biological sources, either you can take it from agriculture, forest materials, aquatic materials, microbes or organic residues, all are bio-related. Biology, like if you, we know that like biology, so basic definition like biology, if you discuss the science of living organisms, right? It's a study of living organisms. That means like it is not only living organisms. So we should know what are exactly the matters or the materials which make the living organism to live. So we know that if you consider human, we are the living organism. If you consider bacteria, that is a living organism. If you consider plant, it is a living organism. But what exactly we are doing it? What we need to know. So if you want to make ourselves lively, or if you want to take care of ourselves humans, so what are we doing? What are the intakes we are taking? So whether all our systems are active, we have many systems, circulatory system, respiratory system, all the systems are active. Like according to that, we have to play. So everything actually materials, right? Even inside that cells, we used to call the metabolism. Like right now we are saying that's biomaterials, right? Everything, whatever it is inside, the metabolics, even glucose we are taking, even carbs we are taking. These are all actually biomolecules, but they're actually biomaterials. in terms of materials. Like we just before I said like cellulose and or like bioplastics, we are taking my plant is also like us only, so they also have these materials that biomolecules like carbs, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, nucleic acid. This also will be there in plant. And what exactly the proportion which will make you this materials, either this cellulosic material or other materials. So what exactly we are targeting it. So we need to understand the basic biology. Then we can go for what are the materials we are targeting. Everything is material here. We should speak. If you talk about material, everything is material. And if we talk about biological material, that means like the materials we are extracting it from biological sources. That could be only 4 categories. Either it could be a fatty materials or combination of fat and carbs, or single like only the carbs or fat, like that. We have the many categories. So which is very important here. When you look into any of the product, if you want to create a value to the product according to the needs, according to the trend in the market line, then you should work on this economies study. And coming to this, so this is biological resources. Suppose if we are targeting about agriculture, then what are the materials we can take it from it? And forestry, what are the materials? And food chain streams, what are the materials? And algae, that is again organisms, microbes. Here you have microalgae, macroalgae, both are there. And microbes, like it includes bacteria, other species, right? So these are the major categories we are taking the materials. So for example, agriculture, just before I told you that rice straw we are taking. Once after the harvest of this rice, then we are taking that leftover, that is straw. From that we are making what would be the product, then husk or bagases. Then forestry. So we know that like once after that people will cut the trees. That too again, like it's not like deforestation I'm telling. Once after everything like the age is over and it is going to be depleted, then go for taking the fibers or barks, then go for reusing it, or like go for processing it. And then this food chain streams, any waste materials, like if you take any fruits or vegetables, the peels, the covers, right? So that and all we are using it. And shells, like if you take any marine organisms, you have that shells. Even some of the fruit will have that very hard core material. That is again a polysaccharide chitin material. It could be a chitin material. So these are the waste materials. Whatever we are talking here, waste materials, less cost materials. And then algae, from that algae we'll be taking polysaccharide, lipids and microorganisms. These are actually the polymers. Whatever we are targeting, polysaccharide or lipids, fats, all are polymers only. So though we have given, but in general they are polymers. Polymers like highly complex material. If you say for example, sugar, the glucose, if you are saying it's a monosaccharide, I mean monomer, then the starch would be your polymer. Like that we have categories, like from smaller to larger. So we are taking, obviously we are taking all polymeric materials. Okay. So, and from these materials, what are the things can be made? So if you say that biomass, it's like, it's for some purpose. It's not that like one biomass, you are using it for making only one product. Okay. It's a group of product. From the biomass, what are the materials can be like derived and which can be used for some purpose? So for example, if you have a agriculture waste materials, from that you are just creating a biomass. So from that, what are the fractions can be like separated? You can separate cellulose, you can separate hemicellulose, lignin. These are actually the material which is present in the plant materials, okay, plant. And then starch, we can take proteins, we can take. So where and all we can use. Suppose if we are using cellulose, we can make a fiber, we can make a nanocellulose. Where we are using, I told you like this RO, instead of using traditional filter, people are using this bio-based filter. Example, you can use this fibers, cellulose fibers, and then you can use as a filter. Then hemicellulose, if you take, that is sugars it is producing. Then any kind of resins or aromatics, we can take it from plant only. That is lignin, one of the product. And then films or like coating materials. So these are exactly the various fractions of the materials present in the biomass. So what the idea behind this, if you take biomass, it is not that like you are targeting only one product. You are targeting whatever the valuable products derived from the biomass. Agriculture waste is there. From the waste, what are the valuable products you are extracting? That matters. And each and every fraction material will have some applications. Okay. So then this is the main core, sustainable materials bioeconomy nexus. So here I hope like you got an idea what exactly material, why we are saying it's sustainable. Like you just think over like in terms of like cosmetics we are using. See, moisturizer we are using, hair oils we are using, and many creams we are using. Even for skin we are using, for hair we are using. What exactly the material is, and how we are going to use it, and what impact it is going to give to us, and after the usage how we are going to dispose it. Even people are saying that even after taking medicines, through our excretas like urine and fecal materials, it is going to go to the waste, and then how people are discarding the waste. Whether it obviously if you take medicine it is going to be a toxic material only, even you can find in urines also. Now it is going to be discarded, or the waste is the disposal method what we are going to follow. Okay. So coming to this sustainable material, the main motto of this talk, the materials bioeconomy nexus. Here the meaning here is there is a loop, always there is a loop or a connection between whatever we are doing. So when in terms of like economy, it's not that like always remember whatever we do, even if we start any business we'll expect some profit, and there must be a loop, right? There must be a connection. So here also the same thing starts. So bioresources, whichever the sources we are targeting, and how we are going to transform it into a product. So for the transformation, how we are going, these are the methods, like either we are going for physical, chemical, biological method. So for example, I told you from agricultural waste, we can take best example. You can take wood, either it may be soft wood or hard wood. From the wood, if you want to extract the cellulose, because cellulose, it's one of polysaccharide or polymeric material. It's a renewable source. It's biodegradable. And the cellulose, you just imagine we are using it paper. The hand paper or everywhere we started using it. And also one application I told you, this filters, right? We can make this filters, that is RO filter, from the cellulose. If I want to do that, what are the methods I can follow? Like if I have any wood with me, so I have to do some process. Either it is a soft wood or hard wood. If I'm going for like harvesting, if I'm going for taking it from various sources, so I should do for it. First, I should look for what is the condition of that. It's like all rotten leaves are there, or like it's very safe, or like it's very pure. So first we need to do first washing, cleaning, then cut into pieces, and then go for extracting it. Either you just add some chemical treatment or mechanical treatment, just go and grind it. And what is the possible way in order to extract the cellulose? The same way, like how we are making starch from potato. I hope like many of you are doing at our house, right? Like we are making for everything. For if you are making any food or any confectionaries or cakes or whatever, we are getting yeast or this cornstarch from shops. During COVID time, actually, we started extracting it from house itself, DIY, right? The same, like if you want starch, extract starch. Starch is also a polysaccharide like your cellulose. What we do, like take potatoes and cut into pieces, mince it nicely, or you can grind it and then use some salt water, and then you just keep it for some more time. All the starch will be getting settled down. Then you just go for extracting it, wash it with water, and then dry it, you will get a powder, right? So that is starch powder. The same way, we need to think about like which sources. Suppose if I'm telling you like a plant that is wood. So from the wood, how I can go for extracting it? Whether I'm adding any salt solution or I'm just go and grind it with any mechanical treatment. and getting that cellulose. That matters. And cellulose, like it's like a fiber. You can see that corn. If you see the corn, the outer layer, like thread, like brown color, long thread like structure is there. It can find in many hemp also, like many things are there. Even this coconut coir pith. So that is all actually cellulose. So you can take extracting the cellulose, whatever you need, and then go for making it the polymer. Okay, so that's what actually exactly it is given here. Conversion, what technology you follow, whether you want to grind it or just simply add some salt solution to separate whatever the contents you want. Then building blocks, what exactly the material you want to extract, then go for materials making it. So this is very important. You're making is the final, the finished product. Either you're making a resin material, you're making a filter material. What exactly the material? So for example, cellulose, I told you. Cellulose, if you want to make it as a filter, you should make it, because when you extract it from the wood, it will be like a small cotton twig. And then how this cotton, we are making this cotton wrap or this any paper wrap, roll and all we are getting now. So they will do some treatment, they will do some chemical treatment like that. If you want to do that, you just make a final finished product. What are how people are making now, like syrups in the tonics and all we are making. They're adding some other attractive colors, adding sweets. Like that, one finished look you should give, but it should be valuable. It should not lose its quality. So like that, like if you use what normally will add some acetic acid in the cellulose and make the polythene layer. It's all a technology, like what are we are doing it. And then finally it can make it as a packaging material, whatever, like whether you want to use an automotives or you want to make electronic devices or any composite materials. So this is the idea. The idea here is we need to have a closing loop, because we should not waste anything. And then idea, it's not mandatory that you can go for virgin extraction, you can go for reusing that also. And then the conversion hub, how the same we have given, but just look into the last one, the fibers, this part, valuable product streams, how we are going to make into it. This is purely a biological method they have given, but here the fibers, where and all using papers, textiles, biocomposite packaging, we are using sugars, any biofuels, ethanol, acids, lactic acids, we are using lignin, any additives, coatings and all we are using paint coatings, chemicals, other chemicals, platform chemicals we used to say, like say for example, solvents, methanol, ethanol, acetone, then bioenergy. So these are the finished products. How we are going to make these finished products with respect to your economy, whether it is economically feasible or not, that matters. It's not that like I have the sources, I'm just going and I'm making this product. Whatever we are making, we should give value to the product. The value, it has to serve its purpose. We either in terms of humans, if we are like going to use it, we are the benefiters. How long we are going to benefit? At the same time, it should not harm us, whatever the material we are using. That is very important whenever you go for making it. So these are actually the conversion technologies I told you, like whether you want to grind it or any kind of chemical treatments you go, biological treatment and thermochemical. This is what normally people are doing, pyrolysis. They are burning it. Like right now it's prevalent, right? Whenever they see any kind of waste materials, even after the harvesting, people are taking even mustards or wheat, anything, paddies. People are either directly they will burn the field. That is also happening. And also like this is also happening after harvesting, they'll be cutting everything, removing everything, and then they will be sending to the center. There they'll do the pyrolysis treatment, that is heating it with respect to certain temperatures, and then they are making crude oil, and then from that they are making energy also, hydrogen or whatever, many material, even people are making it for diesels, biodiesels. So the material, the conversion route also, it mainly depends on what exactly the sustainable material with respect to feedstock, energy, use, and the cost and scale. Okay, so this already we discussed, whatever the material applications we have. And then these are actually the different names, though we are saying that nanocellulose, reinforcement, bio-based, already we discussed. This bacterial cellulose I said, and I said like cellulose from agriculture based, even from bacteria also people are making it. So the major concern here, because these are all actually carbohydrates. Okay, these are the 4 biomolecules there in present in all living organisms, including humans. So the major idea here, what are the targets organisms? Okay, so we cannot, as if like we have carbohydrates, we cannot cut our hand, right? That is an offense. The same way, you cannot go and touch the healthy plants or animals. So there are certain constraints, right? So that is what the ethics. Ethics is not, it is generally moral values. It is not only harming. According to religion also, there are certain customs are there. So ethics, like it's a wide term, we should understand it. Professional ethics we used to call. The next is whether it is economically feasible or not, whatever the processes we are doing it. So you just, these 2 strategies, you just, even if you want to start your business, any kind of business, you just look into these 2 things. Who are the main targets, or from which source we are targeting, and whether whatever the production we are going to do, it's economically feasible or not. That is major concern. So I told you cellulose everywhere it's there. So here we are targeting plant and micro because its production is easy. But at the same time, you have to look for among like a microbe and plant, which is best, which is having the abundant source. And with less money, you need to extract more product. Which source is best? Then you can go for it. It like any product, if you target, even antibiotics or anything like whatever the target materials we are targeting, these are actually the basic things we should consider. Okay. So it should perform. These are actually the main purpose. So with respect to the functionality of the material, so whether it is giving the performance. Okay, we are talking about this bioplastics. It's an alternative for the traditional plastic. So first, whatever the plastic material it has, and whatever this alternative is having. So whether the bioplastic will satisfy whatever the products or the properties there in your plastics. So any product, if you take, you have plus and minus, merits and demerits, advantages and disadvantages, right? Suppose if you have 10 advantages in your product, only 2 disadvantages, then you go for, it's like green signal, go for using the product and then get the feedback. And then if it is again not working, go for reusing it, regenerating it. That we can do. So the first major one here, because we are talking about biological material, right? You just imagine your carry bags. It's a bio-based carry bags. Or people are nowadays using for even pot, right? They are replacing with plastic pot to this bioplastic covers, not in pot, bioplastic covers. So it should have that strengthness. Why we are using plastic? It's very usable. I mean, it's very compact, and it is very less weight. So you can use it for many purposes. The material demand is more. And the main property is mechanical property. It has some strength. It has stiffness. It is not that like it's not like your mud part, right? It won't like absorb. It will resist. So that material property, whether you have that in your bioplastics, that is the first concern. And then what is the stability? Because bio we are saying whether like I told you this cellulose filters. I told you whether this filter. Even if you go for like normally in RO, what we do, suppose if there is a problem in the filter, then we will call for the service, then they will take that and then they will go for cleaning it, normal cleaning. They will use any detergents, they will use hot water like that. The same like can we do with biological material, cellulose fiber, they're very soft. We cannot say that like 100% we can do as like whatever the methodology we are following for this traditional filters. Suppose if you know well how to clean it, like normally we are doing any filters, even in AC filters, we are removing it and we are cleaning it, and we are even put in hot water like wash and everything. The same way we do it with this biological material. Then we should look for what is the temperature is there, stability, heat resistance is there or not. Everything we need to study. If it satisfies, then go for it. Okay. And in terms of safety, in terms of processability, in terms of cost and scalability, most important thing is scalability, whether we can go for large scale of production. That is the demand, right? Like if we are starting some business, people are making paper cups, people are making disposable cups, plates and everything, when they are actually renewable sources. Whether can we go for large scale production? If not, then what is the impact? Either can we get any, either society will be getting benefited, or like us, like the person who is working on it. So, and then the real world, like the world will accept it. That matters. So that's why, like, whenever you talk about sustainability, these factors come into play. That's why then only we can say that it is sustainable. Otherwise, like, we can't justify it as sustainable. So in terms of safety, in terms of performance, in terms of cost, in terms of value, in terms of the scalability, and how to retain value before recovery. These are some of, actually it has some highest values, and whenever you go for repurpose, so preventing the waste. So why we are going for reusing, remanufacturing, recycling, recovering? That is a kind of circular approach without like any wastage. Your product is having high value, even low some other byproduct, if it is coming, it is having some value in it. So then the most important one, we need to look for life cycle assessment in terms of what is the scope and inventory with respect to the materials, and how we are going to have an impact to this in the society, and how the trade-offs and the identification of that material. So we would say that a term, we would say cradle to gate and cradle to grave and cradle to cradle. So according to whatever the product you are using, how much life it is going to have, like life cycle assessment, it has to be measured, and it should be a measurable one. So otherwise, like, we can't speak this material it's in sustainability or not. So any product if you make, even medicines or any product if you make, generally people are making, right, automobiles, electronic equipments, like many items that people are making, but they should measure it, what is their life with respect to the inventory and the impact, and then based on what is their marketing strategy, whether it is satisfying or serving the purpose, satisfying the customers, everything. So we cannot say that. Also, one more thing, we cannot say that like it's bio-based does not automatically mean carbon neutral. Like, we know that like there are certain things like carbon absorb, because plants and algae is specific, right? We actually exhale, inhale oxygen, exhale carbon dioxide. What the other key creatures like plants and all, they will absorb carbon dioxide, they're making some product, and they are actually very useful for the society, right? Even when it releases, the industry releases any toxic gases, how this material is going to act. So that and all very important whenever you go for making the target material is a bio-based material. And coming to the main important challenges, so in terms of biomass quality and whether the supply is there, so that is one important. And then biodiversity, and then the cost and scale up, and the performance, and then the life of the particular product, and the end of the life of the product. So these are actually the challenges still we have, because it's not that like now the product is in demand. If you don't have the sources, if you don't have the supply, we can't go for it. So where and all we have supply, where and all the sources we can get, then go for sourcing it. That's why like we have worldwide trade. So wherever you are getting it, and even if you are importing it, that should be very cost effective, right? So economically it should be feasible, and transportation, during transportation the material quality should not be lost. Even like people are doing import export and all, any product if you take, even some food product, if you are spices, anything, when you do that import and export, like we will first look for the quality, right? General, if we look for the quality, whether it is in the good condition or bad condition. Even foods, if we look for whether the fruits are rotten or not. Even spices, whether any insects are there, worms are there. So like that. So just imagine when you go for producing that some product out of that material, that should be very inert, and also like that should have that much quality. So many challenges are there. So we have many opportunities, though right now we are the major manufacturers of PLA from this agricultural waste, that is polylactic acid we are targeting. The others are actually still in research. We have widespread opportunities. Even government is also supporting. It's not that like one stream, one discipline. Even it starts from chemistry people, and the statistics people will come into play. Then chemical engineering, all like disciplines will make this product, right? We in terms of any product. So particularly this biological products, all engineering, material engineers, chemical engineers, chemistry people, biotechnology people, they are looking for it, working for it. And even nowadays, like rural, whatever people are doing, anything linked with industrial revolution, industrial demands, right? So industry come into play, and they are actually working for it. So others are also other sectors also helping it. So this is exactly the future scope for the students. I hope like some students are there here. I mean in UG level. So what exactly you have to focus on? Because if you targeting any material, what material? If you belong to this area, or if you are interested in it, or if you belong to basic chemistry or basic other physics or maths, just look into what the world wants. What is the demand? So according to the wisely choose it, and you just incorporate all the sectors, all the disciplines along with AI for the faster discovery and the faster production. So what are the things you should remember? Sustainable, it is not only bio-based with respect to cost, with respect to performance, with respect to safety, with respect to feedstocks, it should satisfy the services, properties. And then biomass, it has valuable fractions, and the biorefineries obviously like the resources to the materials, and the circular economy plays a major role. And then the other one is like life cycle assessment evidence. So that's all about my talk. Thank you. I hope like I done it on time. So if any queries related to this.
Thank you, ma'am, for your studious and very simple and useful speech. Till now, I was thinking that materials are only the metals, but materials are, you said that it's wooden or anything.
Yes, sir.
So, how it should be produced to protect our Mother Earth? How the process are there? We should take 5 points which we keep while using that and producing that. So, this scientific information is very much useful to all of us, and you made it very informative today. Thank you, ma'am. And I request participants, they can discuss with our speaker.
Any queries?
Feedback link is available in the chat box. All are requested to fill the feedback link. Those who are from science faculty, they can take care of the asking questions, because this information is very much related to us. Thank you, Dr. Sanand Shukla, sir, please. Because in this speech, she have explained or referred so many times medicines, all these things. So you must come ahead to discuss with her. Thank you.
My screen is visible, sir. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Good evening, Dr. Sir. Good evening, ma'am. Thank you very much for a wonderful session regarding this. Because nowadays, we are talking about the environmental intrusion and ecosystem intrusion by human beings, and definitely it has a boomerang effect, on us. And you can see, various disasters and various kinds of calamities what are coming. It is all because of this. And this is one of the very important trait what materials we are using, and whether they are biodegradable or no, that is also very important. You talked about medicine. I will come to straight to that point. Yes, definitely the expiry date medicines is one of the biggest research material. What people are using drug molecules. That is the biggest question. The biggest question. No doubt for the biomedical waste, I think BMW has special, now is very much there. But, when we are talking day to day, using so many things, that really harm me. We usually think that, what is you, and if it's conscious about this, I think, we will not, we will disturb our environment. So, essential materials is, when we are talking about plastic, if you say no to the plastic, that is very good idea. It is a good, it can, but a realistic proposition is little different than this. You'll find we are having plastic now, and we are having plastic. From we are going to use plastic. Even ventilator is having plastic. So the life-saving instrument is having plastic with it, and that is why some people lost their lives in Amravati because of that explosion of the ventilator, and the plastic material was there. So this is this is very important thing. To what extent we can remove plastic in a reality. Now the question comes then, is there any solution? Yes, definitely we can provide, some like paper cutters are there nowadays. The waste papers we are putting, paper cutters we are using, and we can utilize paper pulp, for the paper pulp. So can we use plastic, or can we destroy or dispose plastic with something which will, will be very handy in a house, and we'll put a plastic bag in that, and people will not use it. We will use that water, pani ki bottle, Bisleri or some bottle is there. We'll place it in that, and the things will get destroyed. So that is my first question. If we can provide some solution, then only the brakes will be applied. Otherwise, it seems to be a philosophy only, and it will not come in a reality. That is my first question. And second question is, there are so many biological agents are there, algae, fungi, bacteria, viruses. They are also playing a role in degradation of all these products. So can we utilize the biological agent, extensively? Because chemical agents or some other thermal agents, like what you have said about the incineration or dumping, all these things will have an adverse event. So can we have, these bacterial agents like, the latrine was the biggest problem, means the fecal matter contamination was the biggest problem in India or every part of the world, that is why big projects like Africa 2000 and everything has started. And then we realized the importance of the latrine, that is sanitary latrine we started providing, right? And there is a history of, what kind of latrines were provided and how they, nowadays you'll find the government is promoting, and every single house in a tribal area also they are having latrine. So can we develop some kind of system like this, maybe a small septic tank, like where the people will put their this plastic material, and it will get destroyed, disposed, or maybe converted into something which will have manual value or something like that. Because we are going for composting, no doubt we are going for composting, and number of farmers are going for composting. Nowadays compost is prepared mechanically also in the industries, and it is available as a commercial sale. So biomedical waste, yes, definitely we are having so many things with us. Nowadays people are making some bricks of plastic and they're really utilizing it, what you were talking about, circular economy or something. So I remember one of my students has done a project on the saline bottles and the injectables. The plastic is there, and from that she has made a plastic blocks, and then she started using these plastic blocks. But my question was there, we are using a plastic in another form, not in a what we were using it, but in another form. So what we have done then, right? That was my next question. So what we can do on this aspect? Please, elaborate on this aspect, ma'am. Thank you very much. Ma'am, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, sir. Okay, so the first question, I think like for your first question is like how we are going to implement, like replace the water bottles, right? If I'm not wrong, because your voice was not audible. So for that, like I'll answer. So like it's all in our hand. First, we should aware of like what exactly. Yes, sir. Shall I?
Is there we provide the problem, and we should provide some system to dispose all these aspects. So, is there anything which we can suggest? Household thing.
Excuse me, sir, your voice is breaking. So I think BETKAR, sir, like, can you tell what?
I will just come in a range and I will talk to you.
Yeah.
Just give it 2 hours. Now, am I audible?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. So my question is, we always come with a problem and we ask people to do acts for something. But if you can provide a solution, I think this problem will get solved.
Yes.
Like septic tanks and latrines we have provided, and we have, somehow we have controlled the, fecal-borne diseases. So can we utilize such kind of technique? Maybe, we can use some biological agents which will help, they are the part of ecosystem only. Instead of using some chemicals or some thermal, like incinerations, we can provide them some tank or something like that, and then they will be putting their plastic in those tanks and it will get degraded by itself, or you may get a byproduct, or maybe you may be getting some fertilizer or something like that from the plastic.
Yes.
So please elaborate on this aspect, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Like, actually, still it is a research R&D process, because the way it is taking time. Even if you put it in some tank and then plastic bottles, and then if you use enzymes or even if you use microbes, it is taking too much time. So we cannot expect that it will be it's not like chemical. It's there. Some chemicals, if you add, then it will treat, what people are doing in bleaching agents, right? Like that we have. But here, when you speak for the plastics, even the microbes, it has to come to the suitable condition, then only it can go and degrade it. Even in terms of enzymes also, still we are working on it, and also we are working on even microplastics. Still it is in the stage, and right now in India we have not actually developed a well established this biological system for degrading it. Even when we do that degradation, it is taking time, sir. It is taking even 150 days to degrade for a small amount of plastics. So right now we are working on it, and we should we'll be coming out with the proper result, and then we can implement it, whatever the idea which you have given. It's a nice idea. So we can also try in our in a small scale sectors, then only, because keeping microorganisms or putting microorganism directly to the tank where we store plastics, it's not a good advice. And also microbes has to adapt to that environment. Certain cases, what the microbe will do, if we are not providing proper environment, then microbe itself will become a toxic material. So that also will be there. So we need to be very careful when you deal with biological living things, because when you make control to that living organism, we have to provide some control environment, sir. Otherwise it won't obey. So that major concern is there. Even in our lab studies, we are facing many problems, whether we are doing with normal microbe or we are taking it from some saline microbe. There are various categories are there. So the saline microbe, if say for example we are saying that which we can take it from marine sources, that microbes are more active than the normal microbes. So right now we are working on it. So soon we'll be coming up with some results, sir. The only major challenges, we have to deal whatever the microbes in a very controlled environment.
Yes, the biological agents are always very active, and there may be adverse effect also. So instead of finding out the utility, first we have to find out is there any adverse effect. Definitely, ma'am, the technology will come, and household disposers are some units will be provided. I think that is how we can control.
Yeah.
Because unless and until we are not giving solution, people will not use it.
Yeah.
And if once you make it popular, people are using now refrigerators, and people are using so many things in their house. So same thing is there. In hospital, it is one of the biggest problem for BMW, that is biomedical waste. And the agencies are there of municipal corporations, and they are charging very heavy per bed, per day charges are there, and we have to give per annum, we have to give in a lakhs just for for the sake of BMW.
biomedical waste.
Yeah.
So if we can have small units in a hospital only, in the past, incinerators were there in the backyard of the hospital, and they were just burning the, all soiled bandages and gauze pieces. But nowadays, it is not allowed also, and of course, it produces a soil pollution as well as a air pollution, and so many things are hazards are there. So we realized, and we have stopped already incinerators. But if we can provide a small units at their own hospitals, the hospitals will not means why they are paying so heavy charges for just the industries are there, and we are sending material to them, and they are charging per bed something like 1,000 or 1,500 per bed, and then it goes per annum, it goes in lakhs. Definitely it goes in lakhs. So if you can provide a smaller units, how this thought also, BMW small units, to destroy this. So it will be a great help. People like you, enthusiastic people, and a very nicely presented topic. So you can do the things for the doctors. You can help doctors. Thank you very
I'll
much.
take this idea. I actually hit me. So I'll take this idea. Then I'll make it as a startup also for my students. So it's a good idea. So thank you for the idea.
Thank you, Dr. BETKAR sir.
Thank you, Doctor Sir. When we go around any dispensary or hospital, we see a lot of that wastage, right from saline, injections. All these things were collected together, and it's not a proper action from municipal corporation to dispose that, and it causes very bad effect. One building is taking care of health, and other sector of that is troubling to the environment and the health also. So if she decided to do something in her research lab to dispose all the materials portably, so every dispensary can take benefit of that. Thank you, sir, for sharing your innovative idea. And ma'am will work on that point with her student. And she's from a renowned research lab. So definitely she will take care of that. In next speech, she will definitely give the solution. Or if she got the solution, she will communicate to us. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you to all participants, those who are present here for taking, because this series covers also environmental chapters also. So this topic, today's material, is also supporting to our environmental solving issue. Thank you, ma'am, for accepting our invitation and joining here as a speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
I'm thankful to Dr. Swanand Shukla sir, Swarna madam, Preeti Kumari madam, Bhuesh ji, Nobita ma'am, Jaipur Singh ji, and those who have joined just left to the session. Tomorrow we will again meet with new speaker, with new knowledge. Thank you. Kindly fill the feedback link. Yes.